Palmer.
No,
Heather
yes, Heather is with us.
She's Director of Outreach and Fundraising in the Sanctuary Hospice. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning.
It's been a busy morning and always good talking to so many different folks this morning, but this the Radiothon is going on as we speak. So tell me a little bit, first of all, how's it going?
Well, we're just about to get it kicked off, but luckily we've had some online donations coming in, and so far we're doing pretty good. We hope to reach our $50,000 goal today. So
yeah, let me just, for folks who don't know this, the Tupelo station 95.9, they're having a radiothon today. That's 95.9 in Tupelo from 9 o'clock this morning till 6 p.m. this afternoon. Sanctuary Hospice House, and you can come by the Sanctuary Hospice House in Tupelo, or you can pledge your donation. And I'll give you the number a couple of 3 times here, so please write it down if you have a donation. 662-844-2111. Or you can go by just physically and drop off a donation there. The Sanctuary Hospice House cares for everyone who can be admitted regardless of their ability to pay. And unfortunately, at the end of the ledger, sometimes there's a big hole because a lot of people can't afford to pay.
that's correct. Yes, sir. We, the Sanctuary Hospice House started 20 years ago, roughly, the mission started, and the founders wanted to be able to have a refuge, a place. At that time, there wasn't a place for people to come at end of life. You either were in your home or in a hospital, or, some people didn't have appropriate caregivers. So they went on a mission trip to Mexico and saw something similar over in Mexico City, and said, you know what, we can go back home and we can start this at home.
Wow.
And it really took a lot of dedication. They had to work through, they had to go to Washington. They had to, go through some legislative hurdles to get where it was. But it opened in 2005. And we also do home hospice services now too, but collectively we've cared now for over 8,000 patients at end of life.
8,000?
8,000, yes.
Being in a end of life in that care situation is something you've got to be drawn to it. What drew Heather Palmer to this?
Oh my goodness. Well, I had a family experience. I had worked for AT&T for several years in Birmingham and had left and moved back home to this area. I'm originally from this area, and was a stay-at-home mom and had a family experience here. And I remember coming here for the first time and just going, there's just something about this place, and I want to be a part of it. And God in his mercy worked it out a few years later. And, when I thought, I'm in marketing, that doesn't make sense for me to be at a place like this, but it did. And I've been here 13 years now as Director of Outreach and Fundraising, and it's such a gift. I don't get to care for the patients, but I get to see them and their families and hear the stories and hear, the lives that we touch. It's incredible, the stories that we hear here.
On the inpatient facility, how many beds are we talking about that you guys have there?
We have 24 beds inpatient. And then, as I mentioned before, we also take care of patients in their homes across North Mississippi. So we cover 18 counties in North Mississippi with that, and go into patient homes and care for them there. And then, if they get to a point where they need to move inpatient, this is always here as a resource for them. So it's been a really the stories, I could just go on for days, of all the stories that we've gotten to hear about, it truly was a refuge for people when they were, some exhausted family members, or like I mentioned before, people who
it's got to be. Yeah, it's a godsend for not only the patient, but for the family also. I'm looking at the ledger here, and at the end of, even with the insurance and everything else, and one of the reasons this is so very, very important as far as the fundraising is concerned, because at the end of the year, your offset is, it says here, $1.5 million each year.
Yes, $1.5 million each year, and people ask, kind of where those numbers come from. Well, we have the 24 beds, and we do bill Medicaid, Medicare, private pay insurance if the patient has it. We do bill those. But the average reimbursement from those, the average, if received, is around $130 a day, but the average cost of care per day is about $600 per day.
Yeah.
So fundraisers, grants, memorials, donations, they're so very important. And I tell people all the time, I know that there's nonprofits out there, but gosh, this is a real nonprofit, and we need all the help we can get to keep it going.
You've been there 18 years. 18 years, you need to do some updating, and things need to be replaced, and walls need to be fixed, et cetera.
For sure. And we've had some donations of furniture and things over the years, but here's what happens. You have people that come in and they stay, and sometimes they're here for weeks on end with family members, and they have guests coming in, and sometimes you have one caregiver, sometimes you have 3 or 4 in a room. Yeah. And it really is a home-like environment here. It doesn't feel institutional. It's very relaxed atmosphere. And so we try to keep that home-like environment. But what happens is, your couches, your chairs, even the ship robes where the clothes are stored, they've just taken a beating over the years. And we have had some donations, but we need some really good structurally sound, furniture that we can place in there so that we're not having this conversation again in 2 years. What we'd like to have is some good lasting furniture that will last us for the next 5 to 10 years. And
almost industrial type stuff.
Right. And it's a challenge to find industrial-type furniture, but also that has a home-like feel to it. But we found some, and that's what we're hoping to fill the rooms with here.
Heather, where is it physically in Tupelo?
We are we're inside the city limits, but we're on Highway 6. So if you're going out of Tupelo, headed towards Pontotoc, some people go through here to go to Oxford. It's 5159 West Main Street in Tupelo, and it doesn't feel like it's in the city. There's a beautiful, I walk out here every day and see beautiful sunsets. There's a ranch out here beside us, and it's just, we have people that come and keep it up as far as like keeping gardens. We had some folks from the Tupelo Garden Club here yesterday planting crepe myrtles, and, it's just a really serene environment, very comforting.
Well, and so if you're trying to drive by, put it in your GPS to drop off that $10 check, it's 5159 West Main, Tupelo. 5159 West Main in Tupelo. So put that into the GPS. You and your check get over there and drop it off. It goes, till 6 o'clock, did you say?
That's correct, 6 p.m.
Final thoughts, ma'am.
Final thoughts, just, if you can support, we'd love your help. Call in if you have had an experience and just share that with us, because one thing we also love is prayers and testimonials. And, it takes a village, and this community has been incredibly supportive. We wouldn't be here without the community and the kind of state and the kind of area we live in. It truly is a gift to have Sanctuary, and it's kind of one of those things you don't think about until you need it. So, if you're ever out here, stop by and see it. We'd love to see you, but also, support when you can, because donations, even $5 donations, really do make a difference.
Yeah. And hats off to our crew who's putting this together from the good people at Mix 95.9. So get there immediately, 5159 West Main, or if you want to just call in a donation, please do. One more time on the phone number. You got your pencil ready or your keyboard, 662-844-2111. 662-844-2111. Heather, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for spending some time with us, and good luck on the event today. We thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, Perez, final segment is coming up next.